I was planning since last weekend to stream another practice run of Chapter 14 of Fire Emblem 1 0% Girls. See if I could work around Katua's god-awful 5 strength and training her up. I'm going to get around to it, of course, but there's something to get off my chest first, because at the start of last weekend, something really annoying happened. Thankfully, it should be coming down before long, but details that make it clear that I should have noticed significantly sooner really got on my nerves. The result of this is that this brings up the main topic of the video, that people will gladly reward shallowness. It's tempting to talk about the gender issue, of course, about how guys will pay for physical attraction so much and girls will go for arbitrary traits like hearts and muscles. However, what I'm going to tear at is more broad. It's the simple general demand of perfection at any cost. Even if there was such a thing as perfection, it's a contradiction by mere definition to claim that perfection could require disregarding any sense of empathy. And yet empathy is exactly what people want to shun, even when it encourages lying, cowardice, things like that. But of course this happens because in order to have their fun, the cool crowd doesn't want to care. Yeah, you know what fictional character didn't want to care? Roger Retinz! In the interest of his toxic entertainment, Roger Retinz murdered his own freaking surrogate son simply for an already very, very arbitrary revenge plot. That was beyond awful even without including his admitted lack of trust in others, a showcase that Retinz planned the murder itself for 2 years straight. I am left wondering how he is not deemed a complete monster for that, along with the plot to bankrupt the Write Anything agency for mere association with Zack Gramarite. And it leaves a very bad message that he isn't. That you can pull a lot of particularly bad cruelty as a completely unapologetic owner of a TV station that spews out trashy and chauvinistic shows, and you would be considered at least as bad as a defense attorney, but at least would not have been pulling destruction he'd have to believe would be wanton if he had his way. Said DA is ultimately still too much of a sadist when all is said and done, but he was more passive about it than Retinz was. This sort of idiocy happens because the ghoul wants to believe in twisted karma systems. They would have only morality involving rules that conveniently benefit them, even when it proves hypocritical and deluded. They don't want to be punished for their own nonsense, so they make up whatever they want, and of course, it's the problem it is because of the ghoul proud, hive-minded mentality reinforcing the stupidity. There's a reason terms like salt, wrecked, and get good are so widespread, because people want to be unrepentant savages who want to scapegoat any scapegoat they can, in hoping to justify their garbage. You wanna know the worst part? It's that fighting this gun is inevitable anyway. Say that I had their loyalty. All I get from that would be the loyalty of superficial zealots. They would just be needlessly hostile toward anybody I take issue with. As a good example, I can remark about disliking May from Fire Emblem Echoes for being overly smug, and they would suddenly want to rip out her lungs. Tell me how that sort of problem would not be annoying. And let me clarify this. I haven't played Fire Emblem Echoes, but yes, I dislike May for being abrasive towards the very guy she liked me. What? That sort of thing had me realize at the age of 14 hell, getting married to Genki Girl is asking to be dealing with being treated as a mass stereotype. Just because the underlying and general aspect isn't black and white does not mean that it can't be a problem in other unpleasant ways where any relationship would become anything but balanced or healthy. And when people working as external factors want to contribute, the favoritism of the unfair sex becomes very bad, very fast. Ultimately, this problem is on people refusing to understand anything, instead seeing fit to live under whatever delusions they can, when all this rewarding shallowness does is make sure that nobody will be